Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're doing absolutely well. So, we are here for a very important update on Bitcoin and the entire market, entire crypto market. I request everyone to kindly mute yourself so we can have a clear communication. All right. So, this will going to be a very important update because Bitcoin has moved as we anticipated. Right, we were anticipating a 15-20% move right after the rate cut, and 10%, almost 10% or 12% has. And I hope everyone will be able to capitalize from these updates. So yeah, right. So we'll get started. I'll be sharing my screen. I hope I'm audible to everyone, and now I'll be sharing my screen. So we just need to talk about three or four factors to figure out what's going to happen in the market or what might happen in the market, right? So I'll be sharing my trading view with everyone. uh yeah, so first we have to look at Bitcoin. So there are only two or three things, three factors we need to keep in mind, which will eventually determine where the market's gonna move for next few weeks or few days, right? So first is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has coincidentally uh, got rejected from this pre-drawn resistance, which is at 63,922. So now this means Bitcoin is not bullish until we start to trade above 639,900 or 64,000 US dollars, right? So I would suggest everyone to mark this resistance in their respective charts, right? Which is 64,000, uh, which is 63,920 and 64,700. So these are the two primary levels you need to watch. As you can see, it got rejected from a pre-drawn resistance level, which was 64,073. And it can't be a coincidence, right? Because I drew these levels weeks back, right? So we saw rejection from 64,700, and unless it starts to trade above 64,700, we are not bullish in 1 day time frame, right? And uh, and the only thing which is driving the entire market right now is S&P 500. I mean, the New York markets. So sentiments are neutral to bullish out there, but we must not forget that S&P 500 is currently trading at all time high. I mean, almost at all time high, right? So I'll draw a resistance at all time high, right? So this was also anticipated. Uh, we anticipated that S&P 500 might pump after the rate cut, especially after this aggressive rate cut that markets were priced in for 25 basis points, and we got 50 basis points instead. So that's the reason of this liquidity flow in the markets right now, right? So S&P 500 is trading at all-time highs, and Bitcoin is facing a very major crucial resistance, that is 64,713. So unless Bitcoin starts to trade above 65,000 US dollars, we are not bullish, and unless S&P 500 keeps on creating all-time high, we are not bullish, right? And third point is Ethereum. Ethereum is creating this head and shoulder. I'll draw this for you once again. So it's funny that how we anticipated all the previous moves, and it played out perfectly, like this one, and then this one, and then this one as well, right? So all these moves played out perfectly, and now I'll be drawing another probable setup which might come into play. So this is the head and shoulder which it is forming right now. This shoulder and this head and this another shoulder which will take it to 2771, right?
ओए
So
सलमान, हाँ यार,
unless
बंदे आइडिया है।
So so unless so unless unless Ethereum breaches 2771, we are not bullish because it's clearly creating a massive head and shoulder. And if this head and shoulder comes into play, we are going down to 1700 US dollars. I know this might sound very stupid because there is a lot of euphoria in the market on social media, especially on Twitter uh, or Rex. People are like mega quarter four and all that, but charts do not tell us that, right? But yeah, of course, we might have a pre-presidential rally. I mean, I guess we are having elections on 5th of November. So we might stay up until then, and we start to correct. But that's totally entire uh, different topic altogether, right? So we are here to discuss what is coming for next few weeks. So that's how we can make money, right? So we need S&P 500 to keep on creating all-time high if we want Bitcoin to keep on pumping, and we want Bitcoin to move past 65,000 US dollars to continue its bullish momentum. Unless it breaches 65,000 US dollars, we are not bullish. And Ethereum is clearly not bullish. As I told you, it's creating this head and shoulder. And if this head and shoulder comes into play, we are going down to 1700 US dollars, right? And the fourth factor we need to keep in mind right now is this crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's creating this lower high pattern even now, right? It is trying to break out from this, but it has not really breached out yet. So it's creating this lower high pattern, right? And we need to track this. And if we see a breakout from here, then we might see 645, which will pump alts, especially the meme tokens and Solana based meme tokens and TRX based meme tokens, especially because that's where the liquidity is right now. But it has not breached out right now. Like until now, it's trying to breach out, right? It has not breached out yet. So until it breaches out from 609 billion US dollar levels, uh, we are not bullish on crypto total market cap, excluding BTC and Ethereum. And if it starts to trade in this range again, then we are highly likely to see 555 again, and this will lead to a sort of a carnage and also, right? Because that will be 50 billion US dollars getting wiped up from the market, right? So uh, also crypto total market cap has been creating these sort of structures previously as well. If we look at this particular structure, it has been creating these sort of structures previously before correcting, right? Like this. So we need to mark 609 as a major resistance. If we break out, we are good to test 630 billion US dollars, which might pump odds a little more, right? And which will take Bitcoin as well to 65,000 US dollars and plus levels. But currently, it has not breached out. It is still creating lower high levels, right? Now, coming to the point, what should we do and what should we like plan for next few weeks? So, my suggestion and the way I'll be looking at it would be solely on S&P 500. How S&P 500 does. As long as S&P 500 is not as long as S&P 500 is not getting uh, corrected or it's range bound, we can expect Bitcoin to stay range bound as well, and this will make alts pump slightly, not much, because we have a major resistance at 650 647 billion US dollars in crypto total market cap, right? So for next few weeks we might stay range bound if S&P does not correct, and that range bound level would be $60,000 US dollars to 64,000 US dollars, right? But if S&P 500 corrects, but if S&P 500 corrects, we might see Bitcoin dipping down to 58,000 US dollars again, and this will uh, go whether previous analysis and previous update that we were expecting a correction, right? So there is one more point which I had in my mind and which I've been continuously talking about, right, since last few weeks, that I have been talking about the how Bitcoin has reacted during the previous rate cut in 2019. So I'll take you there first, right? How Bitcoin behaved during the previous rate cut, right? So yeah, here we are. So we have this was the time when the first rate cut happened in 2019, and we saw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 10 to 11 consecutive green days after the first rate cut, and after that it corrected by 40%, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. Bitcoin, right after the first rate cut, is pumping consecutively in daily time frame, right? In daily time frame, and it has printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 and 7, right? So we might stay range bound for next 2 or 3 days, unless like before we correct further. If we look at the previous rate cut data, right? Because that's exactly how Bitcoin behaved during the previous rate cut as well. It created almost 10 to 11 consecutive green candles before correcting 40%, right? So I don't really want Bitcoin to correct 40% from here, because that will be a major carnage in alts, and a lot of alts really will literally go to zero. Like not zero, but there'll be a lot of carnage, of course. So I am expecting a range bound market for next 2 or 3 days, and a correction. I'm not really inclined towards. I'm not really inclined. I'm not really inclined towards uh, uh, a major rally unless S&P 500 keeps on creating all-time high. And for any market to keep on creating all-time high, we need a correction. That's something very obvious. Markets can't really keep on going up and up without any correction. And if anything goes up without any correction, it's not a healthy PA. It has to correct. So if S&P 500 corrects even a bit, then it will lead to a carnage in Bitcoin, and this will lead to the same scenario which happened in 2019 rate cut. It will correct heavily after a few consecutive days of green, which we are witnessing right now. And I'm not having any bias right now. It's not like that I'm inclined towards bearishness or bullishness. I'm just sharing the data in front of you. I just have the data in front of you, and that's why I'm telling you all this, right? I don't really have any personal benefits by being bearish or being bullish. I'm just here to tell you the truth, and the truth is market does not look bullish unless we start to trade above 65,000 US dollars, and unless S&P 500 keeps on making all-time high, right? So it will be very interesting to see how markets uh, really behave. I mean, especially S&P 500 and New York market. I mean, New York Stock Exchange, how it behaves like for next few days, because that's something which is going to affect Bitcoin and Ethereum and or alts drastically, right? So if we see a correction from here, we are going to buy the dip, but we are going to buy the dipper dip, not the normal dips. Like normal dips are like 5, 3, 7, 10%. We are not going to buy that. Rather, we will wait for 10 to 20% correction and alts at least to buy the dips. So I'll be creating these uptrend support trend line and all the alts to buy the dips, right? So if we get to these levels, we will be positioned ourselves at the right time to long and to capitalize on it, right? And I would have shorted the market uh, if I were to short yesterday, but I would not short the market right now because New York, because S&P 500 is yet to open. So I would rather wait uh, for a for a for a massive correction to build some swing longs, right? And with massive correction, I do not mean 32,000, 38,000, but 52,000 right now. That will be enough to create like enough panic in the market. And I'm sure 52,000 is something people will be sidelined, and people will not expect that market will not pick up from there, right? So 52,000 and 49,000 is something which I'll be expecting in coming months, maybe after the elections. But this rally is not a substantial rally, is not a rally which we can rely on, because especially if you look at Ethereum, it looks extremely bearish. Bitcoin does not have a momentum despite S&P 500 uh, trading green. Right. So we need Bitcoin to break 65,000 US dollars, and we need S&P 500 to keep on creating all-time highs, which is not practically possible. It might just happen due to the pre-election rally, but we are bound to see a correction maybe after the elections, or maybe before the elections, but a correction is due from this current market price of S&P 500, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the alts. So if you are interested to buy spot tokens for 6 8 months or 1 year time frame, I would suggest you to wait for uh, for the elections to happen and then the correction to happen, because 5 out of 5 times correct elections has led to a massive correction in the markets. Not massive, but decent corrections in the market, right? So we might stay range bound because of presidential elections, but eventually Bitcoin doesn't look that great to me, right? So we wait to see how Bitcoin really reacts at 65,000. And if we breach out of 65,000 US dollars, then we can long for 68,000 US dollars, because then it's highly likely to get tested. And if 69,000 US dollars is breached, and this will be the invalidation of the bearish thesis, because then we are most likely to see an all time high in Bitcoin, right? So the invalidation would be 68,900. If we close above 68,900, then we are most likely to see an all-time high. But that does not mean Bitcoin will keep on creating all-time high from that point. That might just be a deviation, and that might just lead retailers to sort of hop in and start buying alts, sort of to lure in retailers, so they end up buying the top. So for next few weeks, we just scalp long and short at the same time, right? Because if we have good long opportunities, we'll definitely hop in and capitalize on them. Because I don't think the correction which was supposed to be happening in 10 to 12 days after the rate cut is gonna happen until US elections, right? But if it happens, we are prepared for it, because that's how the charts are looking like right now, right? But even if it doesn't happen, we are good with scalp longs and scalp shorts simultaneously, so we make money. uh, I mean, in both directions. So I'll summarize it again to give it a clear idea. I'll summarize this again in a minute again. So Bitcoin, we need to breach out, and we need to break 65,000 US dollars to get to continue its bullish momentum. We need S&P 500 to keep on creating all-time highs, and we need crypto total market cap to break out successfully and test 6648, because this is something which will going to bring a lot of liquidity in alts. and this is the reason why alts will pump. And we have a few alts like OP, Core, Solana, which are strong compared to a few alts, apart from memes, of course, right? So we'll be looking at OP to long if market does not correct, and we'll be looking to short VIF up till 1.33 levels, because I have already marked those levels, and I'm sort of sure that we are going to see 1.33, whether we see it in a few weeks or a few months, but we are bound to see 1.33 in WIF, right? Because that's where the mutual liquidity for WIF is. And if 1.33 is not respected, then we are going down to 1.008. So I'll be looking to short WIF if market corrects, and I'll be looking to long OP if we see a decent momentum and continuation of bullish momentum in S&P 500. And meanwhile, Ethereum does not look good at all. Rather, it's creating head and shoulder, which is supposed to be taking the price to. I mean, if this head and shoulder comes into play, then we are most probably going to see 1,700 US dollars, and that will lead to a carnage in the entire crypto market. So uh, that's it from my side. And coincidentally, Bitcoin is correcting exactly from a resistance which was pre-drawn a few weeks back, and let's see how it turns out to be. So the entire game depends on S&P 500. How does it behave, and if it stays well for next few weeks, we are good in a few scalp longs. Meanwhile, we can also scalp short like WEF and other meme tokens. So if you have any sort of questions, feel free to ask me in the chat room, in the Discord, or if you have any sort of questions right now, I'm here to answer them as well. I mean, if you have any sort of questions, I'm here for like next 5, 7, 10 minutes, as 10 minutes. So if you have sort of any, if you have any sort of questions, I'm here to answer them as well. So anyone with any questions, or shall we just wrap this up? You can write them in the chat room, or you can speak as well. So I assume no one is having any question, and I was able to communicate the update clearly to each and every one of you. Right, Bitcoin $65,000, the major level you need to watch out for, and Ethereum 2770 is the major level you need to watch out for, and crypto total market cap 609 is the major level you need to watch out for. So we wait for dip to buy, uh, and we scalp short meanwhile, right? So that's it. Take good care of yours. I hope I was able to convey. I hope I was able to convey my thoughts on the market properly. And if you have any sort of questions, feel free to ask me in the chat room in the Discord. And take good care of yours. Trade responsibly, and yeah, we'll make sure that we capitalize max on these upcoming moves in next few weeks. So take good care of yours and have a good day. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for the update.
So I'll be wrapping this up. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll just wrap this up. Thank you so much. Have a good day. God bless you.